From Cannabis Collective Retreat, I'm Peter Schaff from The Other Magazine, speaking with Kate Dymedenko about cannabis financial management and accounting.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Kate.
Hi.
So let's start off with financial complexity. Cannabis businesses face unique financial challenges. What's the biggest money mistake you see operators making?
Well, there's quite a bit. I can go on the list, but I think the biggest one is poor cash management. Nobody really set aside money for taxes, or they just not planning ahead. So I think that's the biggest challenge for the businesses, and that's something that can make them in trouble.
Okay. Well, you mentioned taxes, so let's go right into taxes because that's a big problem. Explain 280E and how operators have to navigate with Section 280E.
So what I noticed, and this came kind of a surprise, 280E is something that people not really fully understand on the East Coast. So I had, as a CPA, I had to do a lot of education with my clients, potential clients, right? 280E, you cannot really deduct anything except cost of goods. However, there's at least two different options that we can use to reduce the tax liability for the clients. It's legal options, and we can definitely we see some court cases, we see IRS audits where the clients successfully went through the audits without any changes. So one of my favorite is for at least for the retails is 471C. It's basically gives the permission for the taxpayer to choose what exactly to put in the cost of goods. You have to be a small business, and by small business, IRS define it as taxpayer with 25 million and less. That's still a small business, so we can implement this 471C for those clients and reduce their tax burden in the long run. There are some downsides to that, but it's like on the side topic.
Okay. Well, you got taxes, and then the other big problem is banking. So how do you navigate the banking issues with your operators and clients?
Again, like I started 7 years ago, there was no really banking solution at that time. Right now, you can see a lot of banks that's cannabis-friendly banks. You can really choose merchant service. You can accept credit cards. You can accept debit cards. So I think right now the whole situation is much better, even though there is still some difficulties. And one of them, even my business is a great example. I cannot really accept credit cards because merchant service think that I'm ancillary business and shouldn't accept any credit cards or ACHs, online payments. So that's, there's still some definitely difficulties, but I think the whole situation on the banking side is much better than it was like 7 or 5 years ago.
Well, and also probably a lot of businesses are cash heavy, cash intensive. And how do you navigate through that when you have a banking problem or even an accounting problem?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to track cash the same way as you track money on your bank account, right? You just need to set up a bank statement for a safe where you can record all the money going in, money going out, and see your running total. The whatever your cash log says should match your safe. That's fairly easy.
Accounting 101.
Yes, fairly easy, but that's something that's not very often I see when the client come in. That's the first question I ask: do you have a cash log? And they're like, no. So I mean, we have to set it up. We have to put some SOPs around the cash management. However, I can see from my clients that there's less and less cash transactions happening. And for example, in New York, I can see more merchant payments, like debit, credit card payments rather than cash, which is awesome. So we heading in the right direction.
Excellent. So when cannabis businesses want to expand, what financial metrics should they focus on?
Definitely EBITDA. However, let's start from 101. We need to keep the financials up to date. Just close your books every single month by, let's say, 15th of the month. So you should see your profit and loss. You should understand your balance sheet. And then you can analyze it, right? The EBITDA, that's something that all the investors would look at, if it's consistent, if it's not consistent. If it's not consistent, why? And then you should analyze all your expenses. If you're spending 50% of your sales on labor, that's something's going on, and you need definitely make a change. So just simple things like this. But again, I understand that nobody really wants to look at their P&L and profit and loss and balance sheet just because nobody wants to get the bad news. But it's very important.
And bad news that they want to tell their accountant.
Yes.
So, Kate, tell me about your business and who's involved in it. I see there's a gentleman in the back who seems to be involved in this business.
Yes, we are a family business. I'm the owner, and we have my husband, Vadim. He's COO, and he helps to bridge the gap between the sales and the marketing. And I'm the one who's handling the technical side and do the client-facing work and helping with the compliance and accounting. We provide different services for the clients, and we specialize in cannabis, accounting, or tax compliance. That's basically on us. We also do some educational sessions with the clients. We know that if it's a startup business, they don't necessarily have a lot of cash to pay for accounting services monthly. We have this educational sessions that basically gives everything that the client need on the startup phase, and then they can do whatever by themselves.
All right, got it. Now, you mentioned having a glass of wine before. So, do you consume cannabis?
No, I'm a wine drinker.
So, what's your favorite wine these days? What do you prefer these days?
Paso Robles, California. That's my favorite wine region. That's the only thing that I really can drink.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you for your first interview ever.
Thank you.